Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the real episode 22 of Totally Unqualified. We did say it was episode 22 last week. That was a lie because we did an extra episode that we didn't like, so we didn't post it. So today is actually episode 22, and we are excited to have you all.
We have like a secret episode. Someday there'll be outtakes from the
Oh,
secret
God.
episode.
No, we didn't like that one. Not for us.
Not so much.
So we're back.
Happy post-Memorial Day.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Do you say happy? Because it's a sad day.
Happy.
It's a sad, isn't it? It's a, you're honoring.
I hope you had a restful Memorial Day weekend is what I've been saying in all of my emails.
Okay. Thoughtful Memorial Day?
Thoughtful.
I don't know.
Rest. I feel like what's better than restful?
That's true. Okay. Yes. A restful Memorial Day. It was very rainy here.
It wasn't rainy yesterday.
No, but the rest of the weekend was very rainy and cold.
Terrible Memorial Day.
Terrible.
Even more terrible.
Yes.
What about that?
Because it's
Sad.
sad.
It's more terrible when it's raining.
Yes.
My God.
Oh, I get it. Oh, my God.
Did you get it?
Yes, it took me a minute. I am really having a senior moment recently.
Yeah.
I was playing pickleball yesterday, and I got confused about where to stand, and my partner was like, do you know what's going on right now? I didn't.
Okay. You're the one with the housekeeping.
Oh, I do have housekeeping. Okay, I have two housekeeping items. If anyone's tried to call in to us at Totally Unqualified, we're really sorry.
I don't think anyone but Dad has been trying to call in.
Dad tried, and we got a flurry of irate texts last week.
So it's not working. I need to figure out if there's a better method than this fake phone number. Working? I have no idea. I haven't been told anything. I got to look at the account. I have no idea.
Okay.
Fake phone number. But I'm trying to see if there's like another way to leave a message that is not through creating a secondary phone number.
Okay. That's on your to-do list this week.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. So if you tried to call us, we're sorry it didn't work.
That one's for you,
and
Dad.
we wanted Dad to weigh in because he had a lot
that
to say.
one's for you.
Dad had a lot to say. And he was very excited that we shouted him out last week. And you said something very positive about him. Okay. So my big housekeeping for this week is I was a little bummed about last week's episode because I felt like when we talked about what is appropriate or not appropriate to wear, or dressing my age, or making me look old, what I should and shouldn't wear. Really, I felt like being fashionable kind of has nothing to do with it, right? I mean, it'd be great if I also look fashionable, but really I just don't want to dress old. So what I really wanted from you was like, Mom, stop wearing these 5 things. Like the jeggings. You did say don't wear jeggings, which I really hope I don't own.
Nobody wears jeggings anymore.
I know,
though,
okay.
so
I don't
that
think I
wasn't
have
a good
any.
one. Okay, I got 5 things.
All right.
One, first off, is any jewelry that was bought in a museum gift shop, automatically old.
Yeah, I see why that it would be.
Keds.
Keds. Oh, I used to love Keds.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
Keds. What about Tree Torn? Do you know those?
No, but anything Ked and Ked adjacent,
Really?
no.
Are Keds around still?
I don't know. You had them for a pretty long time.
I had navy blue Keds.
Burn the Keds.
No way I like them because they're narrow.
Oh my God, they're so heinous. And I think they're in the closet at the beach house.
No, they're gone.
Really?
Yeah, I checked my closet this weekend.
Okay.
They're gone.
So, what am I, 2? 3.
But you know what was in the beach house, the closet?
What?
A pair of red Nikes that look like clown shoes that were yours. They're very wide at the top.
Oh, the sneakers?
Yes.
They're horrible.
They're
Those
like
are
red Nike
Those
sneakers.
were not mine. Those were actually Will's.
Really?
Yes.
They
And then I took them.
They look like clown
They're
shoes.
horrible.
Those need to go.
Number 3, you don't necessarily need to get rid of it, but just like it's a sign of age. Crossbody bags. I know you've talked about it.
What?
How all women your age have their
I
crossbody.
love my crossbody bag. I just bought a nice one from
No,
Stout.
no,
Doesn't
I'm
that
not
one look
saying
good?
did you not listen to the
I
preface?
did. I heard you say it, but you're saying it's old.
I mean,
don't
I'm
care.
not wearing a fucking crossbody for a day out with my friends. You are.
I am.
I'm
Okay.
not.
Yeah, I hear you. What else? Anything else?
I said I was going to give you 5, so I'm trying to think about. I mean, another one that I am a proponent of, but I think a lot of women your age do it because they think it like maybe youthens them up or makes them look younger, is a lot of people wear chunky glasses. Like big, usually like black glasses.
Yes.
I don't know if they think it's more of like a stylish thing or whatever, but I've caught on to that one.
Okay. What about, I was sort of rethinking my wardrobe a little bit. I really love cardigans, but is it bad to wear those?
Like, I wouldn't say you look like the face of the youth right now.
Well, this
If you're
was
not
Bubby's.
watching.
If you're watching, I'm wearing my mother's.
No, but if you're not watching, she's wearing a black cardigan over a white
am.
t-shirt. I'm not saying that
But
this...
it's kind of a nice cardigan.
But a cardigan in general, I'm not saying is the face of youthfulness. I'm not looking at you like, wow, she's tapped in.
I do a few other things. Like, now that I'm thinking about it. I also like to tie something around my waist. Is that
Always.
bad?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Is that bad?
It's my biggest pet peeve. I hate when women do it. I hate it even more when men do
Well,
it.
Dad always makes it like Myron.
Dad puts it up to his literal boobies.
He does.
He ties it up
But
on
I
his
like
boobies.
it. Like I'll tie a sweater because then I don't have to hold the sweater. I don't like how it looks around your
I
neck.
like around the neck.
I don't like it. I think it's too preppy weird.
I
don't
like that.
it. Now go.
I like that.
Okay. Anything else I'm wearing that's
No, I think I
incorrect?
gave you a solid 5.
A 5? Oh.
What?
Oh.
Are we partaking in a different podcast than each other today? Seriously.
Yes, I'm a
And it's
little-
literally like I always get the heat for not being checked in.
It's
this and
'cause
that.
I think
It's
maybe I'm a little
you.
tired. I don't know.
All
Yes.
right.
Okay.
So let's move on.
All right. Let's move on. That was all the housekeeping there was. Okay.
Did you forget the word for housekeeping?
I know. I'm drinking coffee.
Okay,
you guys.
love
I
and
have to
hate
drink
of the week.
coffee. Okay. Yes. You want to go first?
It wasn't me telling you to go first.
Please.
Okay, so my love this week is a great story. Basically, I bought this new concealer stick that my friend Sophie told me to get from this brand called Merit, which is like new-ish clean beauty from Sephora. And I bought this concealer stick, and last week I was saying that I was really upset that I bought it in the lighter shade because it's going to be summer and I get a little bit tan and I'm not going to be able to use it. Fast forward, Ellen comes back yesterday with stuff from Bubby's house because we're slowly starting to get rid of her stuff. And there was a whole bag of makeup. In it, guess what? The Merit concealer in a shade darker.
Unbelievable.
Bubby was tapped into the trends, and now I have my concealer and I don't have to spend the $50 or whatever it is to get a new one. Thank you, Bubbles.
I have to say something about this because I was thinking about it last night because I took some of her creams, right? Bubby was a really funny shopper. She had either very low or very high, and there were only certain things she spent money on. And skincare was one of them, or makeup. She used to like to go to Bloomingdale's, which is right next to her apartment, and they would make her all up, and then she'd buy all the makeup, right? So I looked at a cream last night that's some sort of firming and hyaluronic acid. I can't even say it. Mm-hmm. How do you say that word?
Hyaluronic acid.
Hyaluronic acid cream. And it's a brand called Rodal, Rodal. Have you ever heard of them? Bless you.
No, I've never heard of them.
It's a pink jar, reddish pink, and it was called Dragon Blood. I
Oh
swear to
my God.
It's called Dragon Blood, and it's in this red pot. And so I'm like, all right, first of all, smells absolutely delicious. I tried it on. I have no idea if it's going to work or not. But then I looked it up, and you know what? It's $100.
Rodal.
I think Rodal Dragon Blood Night Cream. Rodial? Maybe it's Rodial.
Yeah, Rodial.
Rodial. Dragon Blood
Hyaluronic night cream.
Yeah, Dragon Blood. I love the name.
So random. Never
So
seen.
I think she was really...
Of course, the first place you can get it is at Bloomingdale's.
I told you. So I think Bubby was funny that way. So she probably somehow was... And also Sephora was right near her house. So maybe she was wandering around. She had some really cool... That was like the great part. One of the great things. Like you never knew what you were going to stumble on in Bubby's closet or bathroom.
Yes, but a lot of the time it also was like pretty bad.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of the time it was like really random and like not good.
No, all right. Yeah, that's
no,
true. Yes, it's true. It's true. It's true. But there were some good things.
No, there were a few gems. There were a few
yeah,
diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
Okay, what was your love?
So my love of the week is I watched on Netflix this weekend Sirens. It's a new limited series or a limited show. There were, I think, 4 or 5 episodes. And I got to say, it was soapy. Kevin Bacon's in it and Julianne Moore, who gives a phenomenal performance as this very interesting and uber wealthy woman. Of course, it's all about the ultra rich, but... because I feel like those do well. But Megan Fahey was in it, and I love her. She is always consistently good. I think she's adorable. She's a good actress. I just always like her. I liked her in White Lotus. I loved her in The Bold Type, which you never saw, which is all about the magazine business. Mm-hmm. And I think it was I think that might have been the first thing she was in. You should go back and watch that.
That was the first thing that she was in. It was in 2021.
I think that was the first thing she was in. She played a fashion assistant or an assistant in the fashion department of a magazine. And she was so great in that. I liked her in that Nicole Kidman one where she had that beautiful Missoni dress. I just love her. I think she's a great actress. I hope she's in more stuff. Love her. And I think she might be with somebody famous who is a surprise, and I can't remember who it is.
No idea.
Anyway, Megan Fahey,
Should
love
I look
you.
it up? Okay, so my hate this week, I'll say it while I look up Megan Fahey.
Boyfriend? I don't know if she's married. I don't know. Boyfriend?
Oh, the Sirens star and her British boyfriend found love on set. Leo Woodall.
Oh, he's the guy who's in White Lotus.
Who's he?
He was the blonde nephew in the 2nd season of White Lotus. Remember?
That's who she's with?
Yes.
Oh my God, I thought he was so much younger than her.
That's who she's with.
He's 28 and she's 35. She's from Longmeadow, Massachusetts.
Yes, I know she's a Boston girl. Woohoo!
Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
My hate this week is as follows. I bet that this is just so annoying when you have an actual kid, but like nothing pisses me off more than when I'm on the street or I'm somewhere and somebody tries to like tell me what to do with Linus. Like I was on the subway and someone was like, I think he's thirsty. Like I will know if my own animal is thirsty. I'm not asking you for your 5 cents. And then that made me think about it when you have a kid and how everybody gives their 2 cents.
They do.
And I'm fucking losing it with my little dog over here. And I just can't imagine. So that's my hate of the week. Or someone will be like, he's too tired to walk. I know him. Do you know him? Do you know him better than me?
Just wait. When you have
God.
kids, it's much
It's just
worse.
so fucking annoying.
Because people will tell you how to get your kid to stop crying, how to get your kid to behave, how to make your kid do something. Everybody feels like they need to win, whether or not they need a jacket or shoes, or it's very annoying. Yes. Mind your own beeswax.
Mind your own beeswax. That was my hate. What about you?
So mine is more of a question.
Oh my
I know.
God.
Well, I can't help it. I just want your reaction to this. You ready? I'm not sure it's a hate, but it's a like,
Okay.
So this weekend, Dad and I went out to dinner with two other couples, friends of ours, for dinner one of the nights. And we went to a restaurant that was great. Food so good. Really enjoyed it. We had a waiter who looked like he was about 18, and he was very nice and very good. And then he dropped a giant glass of water. I'm going to say giant glass of water onto the other side of our booth. So 3 people were on each side. So one couple, it went right between one couple and spilled all over them.
Oh my God.
Now, I have been a wait person many, many times in my life, and I did not fault him. He felt horrible. He was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. He must have apologized 1,000 times. Brought over 1 million napkins, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I do not fault this kid one bit. He did the right thing. But here's what I want to know.
They didn't comp anything.
Not a thing. And here's what I was mad about. The manager came over and he seems like very knowledgeable, this manager. He was an older guy who seemed to like really be clued in. He brought extra napkins and he said, sorry about that. Okay. But that was the extent of it. And I thought, I think it was a giant glass of water and it went everywhere. And I have to say, our friends were so ultra cool about it. They're like, don't worry, it's fine. Do not worry. It kind of went between us, blah, 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 blah. And they were so nice. But I was like, I got to be honest. He should have comped something. He should have brought over a dessert or an appetizer or something.
I could see it going either way. Well, Natalie just had a huge thing of red wine spilled on her.
Really?
And they moved tables, but I don't know if they got anything comped. I think that that's the smart thing to do, and they should do it, but I don't think that they necessarily would.
So here's just my take on this, because
if you want to be a good business and have your customers come back, then you sweeten the deal a little and are extra apologetic.
Yes.
I know the reasoning. I just don't know if that would be like inherent to every single person. Somebody in hospitality.
I think it's so. I was surprised that Dad didn't say something, not to the manager, but say anything about it, because Dad had been in the restaurant business so long. And his whole take was always a dessert or an appetizer does not really cost you very much as a restaurant. Do it because you keep the people for life. Yeah. Right? Like I would have walked out of there much happier. I mean, I loved it and I'll go back. But I was a little bummed. I was like, you know what? That wasn't cool. You do the gracious thing. Like, you made these people
could go either way.
I know that someone who's one of our favorite listeners and our best listeners is listening, and she went out with us. She was there.
Was she spilled on?
She was not spilled on.
Oh, she was out of the splash zone.
She was on the other side, out of the splash zone.
What was her feelings on it?
We never talked about it, so
okay,
I am curious to know.
Call in.
Well, you can't
Oracle.
Call. She can't call. So could you text me, person who was on the other side, and let me know if you had the same feeling. And by the way, I just want you to know, I saw her a couple of times this weekend. Twice she said to me, would Ava consider this a tunic? Because she was concerned she was wearing a tunic because you said tunics are fashionable.
It's not bad if it's a long tunic, but you wear these like half in the middle midi tunics.
Where
like,
do you want to say?
It feels like it's a little bit culturally appropriative. It feels a little bit like, what are you doing?
I just want to say that what she was wearing was actually, she's a petite person, and she was wearing leggings with what I would call a size large t-shirt.
Oh.
But she was like, I think Ava would think this is
a tunic. I'm crying.
So no tunics.
Okay, so love and hate of the week is done.
But I do want to say one other thing.
Yes.
Over the weekend, someone who's a family member asked me if she could fix you up on a date. And
another person?
Someone who It seems that all of a sudden Ava is like the new sport for many of my friends and relatives.
Who literally are so kind and so nice, but it seems as though everyone is determined to find me a match.
Yes, everyone wants to find Ava a match. So one of our cousins texted me over the weekend, and I'll go offline and tell you who it was, because the guy sounded like amazing to me. And I'm like, whoa, this sounds really good.
Do I know him or something?
Good. No, but I haven't brought it up. One, because we got back last night and I forgot about it until we're thinking I'm sitting here. And two, because I did look at his LinkedIn picture. And I think maybe I'm just going to say one word.
Wait.
Facial hair.
Oh God.
I think maybe
is it offensive? Is it offensive that they wanted me to be set up with that person?
No, it seems like this person is like really a very interesting and great person.
Facial hair.
But I just have to say facial hair.
All right, we'll talk about it offline.
Is that a no?
No, it's not a no. I need to see what we're talking, what I'm working with.
Okay. You could just know. My mother used to say.
I know. You could fix them up.
Exactly.
You can change that shit.
Exactly. He can shave it off.
Yeah, I understand.
Like
all right. We've been
along.
Really Okay. So this is our listener question. My fiance and I recently got engaged, and we've run into our first big disagreement about the engagement. Should he be wearing a wedding ring before the wedding? I know it's not super common for men to wear a ring before the big day, but since I'm wearing one to show off that I'm off the market, I feel like he should too. Is this something others have dealt with? Have you dealt with that? What's the norm these days? And what did you and your partner do? I mean, nothing for me. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Okay, I think this is a wow of a question.
Such a good one.
Because
what the fuck?
It makes you think, wait, why do we do any of this at all?
Okay, so you're wondering. I got an extensive history. I'm not kidding. So when I was talking about this with these people a few days ago, I was like, I really feel like we need to look up the history in order to understand. And then I was like, oh, I'm just going to make this a question on the podcast. And so I did some of my learnings, and this is what I found. Tradition is rooted in the patriarchy. Engagement rings were originally a symbol that a woman was spoken for or off the market, often tied to a dowry or legal ownership concepts. The man, being the one who proposed, did not need a visible signal. Okay, so that's like the base cause of wearing it, right?
Yes.
Then I was like, okay, let's get historical. So where did this all come from? Ancient Rome. The earliest form of engagement rings can be traced back to ancient Rome. Women were given rings made of iron, later gold, to signify a contract or ownership, not a romantic gesture. So they never started out as romantic. Okay. It always started out as the man giving it to a wife to symbolize some sort of exchange or property. Then it continued to medieval Europe, and it was often associated as a part of Christian or aristocratic courtship, and the rings were still for women. Then 1477, Archduke Maximilian of Austria gave the first known diamond engagement ring. So there is nothing religious about the diamond. There is nothing symbolic. This rich Archduke gave it to his woman and leveled it up. So then in the 1940s, a Diamond is Forever campaign
I was going to
came
say,
out.
this is a total
Diamonds
whitewash by the
forever.
diamond industry. This is a way, like they created a monopoly.
So, men, strap them on. We're putting on our rings.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It's literally not founded in anything traditional other than women being men's property. And so ChatGPT offered me something very interesting, a solution of sorts.
Did it?
Times are changing. More men are choosing to wear man-engagement rings now as a symbol of mutual commitment and equality.
Wow.
Boom. That's your answer. I'm not kidding about that either. I think now that we know the history, if you like it, you're both putting a ring on it.
So I guess my question is, do you want to, like, I love my ring. I love it because I think it's pretty, but I don't love it because I didn't know that it was property. It never really occurred to me.
We're not talking about the rings in general.
No, but I'm saying...
We're talking about the engagement period.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, no, I want to go to the rings in general because I want to say, so should anybody be wearing an engagement ring? So there's the question, right? Like, it seems like a double standard. It does seem like it should be both or neither, right? But then there is the like part of it. Like, I like it. So, and a lot of men don't like to wear ring. Like, I know a lot of married men who don't like to wear a wedding ring.
I think that is, let me just tell you, I don't care if it gives you the hives and your finger is 15 sizes too big, you're wearing the ring. There's none of this. I don't like wearing it. I'm sorry. I think that is the biggest bullshit.
Men who don't wear it.
Okay. Do their wives not wear it?
I don't know. I have to look. I do know a few women who don't wear.
Okay. I mean, I think that, like, we live in a world in which when you're not wearing a ring, that is like an outward statement sign of, like, I am untethered. And I think that that portrays assumptions, feelings, behavior that a ring could easily prohibit.
Yes, I'm with you. I think it seems like it seems like a good idea. Like, why not? Then you can each give each other something. And that seems like a cool thing. It's not just the woman that gets a ring.
I feel like you would be like, what the fuck if Dad started walking around one day not wearing his ring?
So Dad last year, because he takes it off sometimes, I think because
his fingers got too bad.
I think he was gaining a little weight and it was getting a little tight. So he took it off and then he came to me and he said, I lost my ring.
Oh my God, I remember this debacle.
And so he flipped out.
The dad buckle.
Because he likes his ring, actually, but he took it off. And I did find it under his desk. So that was good news. Yeah, I think this is a really good question. And I'd be curious to know what I would love to know the person who wrote the question, what her fiance thinks about the whole thing. Like, what guys your age would think of wearing a ring. Because some, I think, would probably like it.
We'll follow up next week. I do think that there is this idea that it's weird for a guy to do because it's not the normal thing. But now that I read about the engagement ring and that it already has a name, like, you're doing that.
Yeah,
I would even buy you a shitty ring to wear during our engagement and then upgrade it for the wedding, but, like, you should be wearing one.
Or you could buy something cool. That's what I was thinking. Like, you could buy, like, they could wear an aura ring. Like, who cares, right? Just wear something. Can't you just wear an aura ring? People don't tell what.
If you want to be with me, no, you don't. No, you don't.
I'd like to discuss aura rings and if they work.
Okay.
So I think it's a good idea. I'd like more info, and I'd like to know if this is going to create a rift with this couple, right? I want to know if he's going to be like, no, I'm not doing that, in which case that's interesting in and of itself.
We'll keep you updated, but I think our advice is given.
Wait, do women not want to wear a ring? See, I want to wear a ring, even though it seems like patriarch. It's
this
terrible.
Woman wants to wear a ring.
So, but that's the thing, like, now that I know the history, which it never occurred to me, it is bad that we're property, obviously, and also it is the diamond industry created an industry for itself.
I mean, there is no reason. Archduke Maximilian of Austria, thank you for that. 1492, America was discovered and engagement rings were given out, I guess.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Well, America wasn't discovered. I should have put that in quotes.
By Columbus?
I mean, it already existed, obviously.
It did, and also.
He didn't discover shit.
Okay, moving on.
Okay.
All right, so, listener, you go buy that ring and you talk to your fiance about it.
So this also, in the same vein of gender roles, I kind of wanted our topic to be like the evolution of gender roles and if we feel like things are super gendered still, in terms of just like being a wife, being a mother, as we are an intergenerational podcast. And I wanted to start with what I'm about to say because you and I were kind of talking about this earlier, and you asked me, do people your age still want to like stay, like do girls your age, women your age still want to stay home? Is there interest in that? Or does everybody want to work? And my friends are obviously still young and we're very mixed, but there are definitely people who envision their lives having a part of it or the majority of it being a full-time mom, which then brought me to this, which I don't even know if you know about. Have you ever heard of a trad wife?
No, what's that?
It's like a traditional wife. It's this like huge trend on social media about these wives that like quite literally homestead and do everything from scratch. Trad as traditional.
Yeah, I got you.
Everything from scratch, like literally live on farms, like live in nature, homeschool, like really intense, going back to like as traditional as it gets. Mm-hmm. Which is now kind of like, I guess, appealing to an audience because these people have huge social media followings. But I think would be interesting because A, unfamiliar to you, but B, it's also like this weird dichotomy of gender roles where they are pulling in all of this income and making this money through showcasing what it would be a traditional wife and not have a typical job.
So my first reaction is, what's the husband doing while she's being the traditional wife?
I think the husband has a job, but I also...
A job outside of the homesteading?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think that some of these women end up becoming the primary breadwinners because of their social media accounts showcasing being a trad wife.
Well, it does strike me that sounds... This is a very difficult topic to discuss without putting my foot in it, I think, a little bit, because you don't want to condemn anybody for their choices.
No, not at all.
So everybody has a choice, or maybe you don't have a choice, right? Like sometimes you got to make money, so you got to work. But it sounds like what those people are doing seems really cool and interesting and a life decision that they've made. And so power to you if you're going to make money at it. Like, I think that's amazing, right? The time when this doesn't feel good to me is when there's an expectation put on you by somebody else that somebody wants you to be a trad wife or wants you to be traditional or wants you to work. Like I said, I would say most people don't really have an option, right? Because doesn't everybody need to make money? So you probably have to work in some capacity to earn an income and support a family. But
is this pertaining to trad wives?
Well, no, this pertains to everybody.
But some people can afford to have a parent stay home.
Some do, and some make that choice, right? They can downscale their life a little bit and work within the budget that they have created. Yes, totally. I feel like you want to be a trad wife, go for it if that's what you want to do.
Well,
it seems cool and hard. That seems exhausting.
It just seems like something that I feel like people your age wouldn't even really envision or think of being trendy or sought after, because it kind of can be perceived as going back to like female complacency and the woman being tied to the home. Yet there's this huge growth in popularity of having this home environment in which maybe the mother is the center of it.
So I think there's slight fault in your thinking, which is, so the generation before mine, no, that's not true. The generation before mine really led the women's lib movement, right? Like the feminist movement, women should work or be able to work. And then the generation before that, like 60s, 50s, they were traditional wives. Most women stayed home and raised the kids. And that's what you think of, or what I think of as a traditional wife, right? Like that 50s Mad Men wife and always looking great. And she wakes up and puts on makeup before her husband wakes up. Like, oh, yeah. Right? So I think I could speak for my generation and say this, that we felt very lucky that we got a choice, right? That women had moved the goal or moved the whatever it is so far that it was very normal for women to work by the time I went through school. So of course, I could be a doctor, I can be a lawyer, I can be a teacher, I can be a writer, whatever I want to be, right? My parents were like, you be whatever you want to be. And I wanted to be something, right? In terms of a career out of my house, right? I also wanted to be a mother, but I knew that I wanted to fulfill something that would be working outside of my home. And I think most women in my generation felt that way. Like they could have a choice. And some chose to go to college or not go to college, raise kids, have kids, not work out of the house. I mean, people made all different decisions, right? So now it is interesting to me. There's a lot that's interesting. It's interesting that it feels to me a little like your generation is similar to mine in that you just want the choice.
Yes.
Right? I just want to be able to choose, and I want to work with my partner to make the choice. Whether he stays home and I work, I stay home and he works. We both work outside the house. We have hybrid jobs, whatever. There's so many choices now, right? Part-time, full-time, hybrid. So that's all, I think, amazing for the family.
Yes.
These traditional wives, it would never occur to me. I think it is so interesting. And what I love the most is that they're making money on their social media.
Right.
From it.
It's cool. It's
I
a
think
cool
it's
concept.
awesome.
I think it's definitely a cool concept. I hear everything you're saying. I more so wanted to bring it to the table because I think that you would feel like that in a lot of ways could feel so diametrically opposed to like how liberal in ways my generation I think can be perceived, and how this seems very traditional and yet it's really taking off. So that's really why I brought it to the table.
I love the new spin on it and the new take on it. While we have our moment, I do think that this issue is always fraught because it's all work, right? Like if you have children, raising children is work. And I always thought, I don't understand why I'm not paid for this, right? Is this the hardest thing you'll ever do? Why aren't I paid to raise my kids? It is impossible. It is very difficult. And there's always been this weird divide of like women who work outside of the home. And even when you were in school, right? There are moms who worked outside of the home and moms who didn't.
Yeah, like
and it cut socially along those lines.
Totally. Like there were the kids that had babysitters and there were the kids that didn't. Like Natalie and I both had babysitters. And you know what was interesting? Not that it's one way or the other, but like the kids who had babysitters usually like stayed in the park and played after school, and the kids whose parents picked them up usually like went home if we weren't going to after school activities, because there was like a babysitter community. Like they would hang out with their friends and we would hang out with our friends. And yeah, and there were the moms that were always in the classroom, like you knew, like, why is Mom's mom here again? But reflecting back on it, it's really interesting because like the big divide was really the moms who worked and the moms who didn't.
Right. And the moms who I tended to socialize with
were the ones who worked
right. outside of the home.
Yes,
I think it's all work. But the women in the 70s and the 60s that blazed this path, I think it was very hard for them to see that there were women of my generation who chose to go to college and go to law school and then not practice law and raise kids, right? It's sort of like, wait, I fought so hard to get in the door that you're not going to go through the door, the doorway. Like, what are you talking about? And I understand that now as I look to your generation, right? I want you to have options. And we are so far still from having this be equitable. Women still make like 40 cents on the dollar of what a man makes. Something
40
crazy.
is dramatic. It's 60. 70.
No, it can't be. Let's look that up. Okay,
Keep talking.
I'm spewing misinformation. I don't like that women, there's still this glass ceiling of like, What about Fortune 500 companies? How many women run those? Not that many. Do women earn the same as men? No, they don't. Traditionally, no. And so you got to be in the game in order to break the ceiling, right? If you're not going to be there, you're not going to be able to move forward for women.
It's actually 83 cents.
Is it? Okay, that's better than I thought. I went to 40. I went less than
Yeah.
half.
I mean, you went really, really far.
Okay. Still, why isn't it 100? Why isn't it
No,
equal?
obviously, 100%.
So, I think what surprised me when we were talking earlier was that I just always assume that like everyone in your generation wants to have a career outside of the home. And you were saying not necessarily.
No, I don't think so. Well, it'll be interesting when we really see.
Right. And maybe it's also different because the idea of a career before, I mean, there are some jobs that are all encompassing.
I was actually going to say that like a career now, I think also looks very different to like, I think that it is more plausible for people to be able to do both with hybrid work and freelancing being so much more popular. Like job stability, I think in a lot of ways is so in flux maybe that like you could have a period of time where you're like coincidentally unemployed while your children are young and then you want to jump back into your career because there are more jobs, whatever it may be. I just think that there's way more options to ultimately reach career success that differs from you having to be in the office every single day, 9 to 5.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there really was that choice. When you worked, you had to go and show up and be there. And there wasn't really part-time work and there wasn't really hybrid work and blah, 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 blah. So I totally agree. I am interested, though, to ask you one other question, which is, do you think the other partner, and for you it would be men, right? That
Why do you say it like that?
Well,
Men,
because a gay
right?
couple, is it equitable in gender now? Would you assume that a man might stay home? Or is it traditionally thought that like the guy goes out and works?
I still think that there is a little bit of this internalized sexism where you're like, as a wife, you definitely want to feel, I'm talking for myself, potentially in the future, I would want to feel financially taken care of beyond my own financial situation. That doesn't necessarily mean that my husband has to be working. Maybe he won the lottery. But I would feel anxious and uncomfortable if I was the only salary in which my family lived on and I wasn't doing extremely well.
But don't you think, I don't even know how to unpack that. I'm a little surprised. Like, it sounds like...
but I also want to work and I want to be with somebody who wants to work.
But don't you see that you have you have earning potential? It sounds like just now what you said made you feel like you're never going to make as much as somebody else. But guess what? My husband, I could make more than my husband, but my husband also might hit a higher number before me because of what we just said. Right. Well, that's possible. But I guess what I'm hearing is it sounded like you thought I need to be taken care of because I'm never going to make enough money.
No. I'm saying that personally, me, Ava, I, as a human being, would like the option to not work and still have an income in my house.
Yes, I hear what you're saying.
So I, no matter what, want to be with somebody who wants to work because I want to be able to choose to not work. If my husband decided to change his career path and not want to work and I had to carry that burden for some time, I would. But that's not really the preferable route I would go down.
I think it's hard to say before you're in it. Because I always assumed I'd marry someone who made more than me. And there was a long period there when Dad went back to school and I earned and he was in school.
No, I completely understand. I'm more so really thinking about it from the standpoint of like, I just don't want a husband that's around all day. I know that sounds crazy. I don't want to be like, I want us to have our things to do. I don't want to be hanging out with him all day.
Wait, why are you hanging out with him? Somebody's got to be making the money. I mean, who's making the money in your house?
I would prefer to be able to work from home. I would prefer to be able to, for the house to be my domain.
Got it. And you want
the house will be my sanctuary because I will have designed everything.
And you want him to make enough to support.
He doesn't need to be going to a 9 to 5, but I don't want him in my space all day. Like, go do something. Have your own things to do.
Okay. I hope you guys win the lottery because it sounds like no one's working. I don't know you guys are going to make money.
My ideal life is to go on vacation forever.
Okay, good. I'm so glad you're in reality, rooted in reality.
My ideal life is to be my brother's personal assistant.
She has said this before. I just want you to recognize that you have
the potential to make enough money as I please. I know.
Right, and also the capacity. I think one thing I didn't do when I was young, I was not good, and I don't think you're good at this either because we're very similar. Like Will is very good at deferring. Like he can buckle down, work really hard, and defer the benefit, right? You and I are like, wait, I would rather like go away right now.
Yeah, obviously.
Right? So that's really hard when you're like that because it does work to your advantage if you buckle down, try and have a really good career, make a considerable amount of money early on, and then you have choices because you've banked money.
Let's just pray that Will gets a good job.
That is not
No,
acceptable.
I'm kidding. I know. I'm aware of all of this. Maybe the podcast takes off.
There you go. Maybe we should do some marketing.
I hate to cut this short, but it's 5 p.m.
Okay. Why? What does that mean? That it's 5 p.m.
What number does how is that number significant to you?
Because we've been here an hour?
No.
Oh, because Liney needs to eat.
Are you serious?
I can't believe you're going to make us stop the podcast because the dog needs to eat. He can eat late.
You are being so fake right now. He eats at 5:02 and I don't hear the end of it. You're telling me he can wait. You freak out. You feed him usually 5 minutes early. So really you're late right now.
Untrue. He ate at 6:15 yesterday.
Because you were in the car. You had no other choice. You don't want him to throw up.
All right. Do we have anything else to say about this? I think it's TBD because you know what? I'm a little shocked by the sort of traditional, in air quotes, roles that you're discussing.
Okay, you can bring it to the table next week.
I'd like you to ask some of your friends about this.
Oh, wow.
Do they want to stay home or work? And do they think they're going to be
I think it's pretty 50-50.
Are they going to be the big earners?
Some want to. You know who wants to be the big fat earner?
No.
Interesting one. No.
Really?
No, Nell wants to be a mama.
Oh.
Naddles.
Oh, I
Naddles wants to be a CEO. That's what she says.
I could see that. I totally
Big
see
money Naddles.
Maybe we need Naddles to come back next week and talk about this.
I miss her so
we haven't had
much.
Naddles on in a while.
Naddles.
All right. I guess that's it. We'd love to hear
Oh
your
my
thoughts
God.
on this.
Do you hear those paws?
Here he comes.
He literally ran in. Line, come here.
Nobody cares about this part.
Yeah, everyone does. He just got a haircut.
Okay. He got groomed today, everyone. Yep. He looks adorable. If you're on video, you see how cute Liney looks. He does look adorable.
Mama, I'm starving.
Okay. We'll be eating right now, baby boy.
Have a good week. Call in, text. We'll fix the number. Call in, text in. Line, anything
Thanks for
else?
listening, everybody. Oh, he's licking me. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.